I wanted to be a cyclist. The Tour de France was the thing, but it was a bit expensive to get a bike. So I got a pair of shoes instead, and I set about running. Coming from a small country, it was an idea just to vary the distances and the events that I ran in. So I ran long distance track races, short distance, middle distance, cross country, road races, you name it, indoor as well. Anything that came up, if it was a race, I was in for it. I normally manage to fit in somewhere around about 50 miles a week, maybe 60 on occasions, but the competitors, I used to go across to London to the championships, the White City, and as I'd be warming up for the event, I would hear them talking about what they'd done, and I would hear maybe 150 miles I've done last week, and 130 the week before, and I would sort of wonder, why am I here? This seems ridiculous. And I would actually get an inferiority complex hearing that. It would have been better if I didn't hear it, but I did. But it didn't change me. I didn't start doing 150 miles a week. I mean, you have to be professional to do that. You couldn't work and do that. It seemed to be always that it was the British people on the mainland who were selected, and to think of somebody from Northern Ireland getting selected who, you know, was just a fun runner. It just seemed amusing to me, and I was very excited by it, obviously, and very proud to have been selected. But it was hard to take it all in, really, at the time. The week before we left Britain for the Games, I was fitted out with some new equipment, and I put a new pair of shoes on, and I was running around in a place called Timsbury Manor in the south of England, where the team gathered. And it was a very hilly area, and I ended up getting shin splints. And I honestly couldn't move my legs, and I had to take something like a week out without even being able to walk properly. And I thought that they weren't going to let me go to the Games. I thought the doctor's going to rule me out, but in fact they let me go, and there were upwards of 100,000 crowded around the arena. It was a horrendous experience for someone from Belfast, you know, who had never experienced anything like this before. I mean, at Paisley Park, you might have had maybe 200 spectators, and here you were with 100,000, knowing that it was being televised as well around the world. It was a frightening experience, and really, possibly with the shin splints and whatever else, I suppose it's not about a wonder I went to pieces, really. But really, the preparation there just wasn't good, and I didn't get through the heats of the Games, and I ran what was my slowest time that I think I'd run since I was 17, possibly. I really ran very, very poorly, but I mean, things just didn't go for me that time. I know I didn't do well. The sad thing was people who were qualifying were people who I'd been beating all along until this particular shin splints event happened. It's nice to be able to say that you're an Olympian, but I mean, you don't really say it to anybody. So unless they know, it's there. You know yourself that you've done that, you've achieved something, but it's sort of all just in your own satisfaction, really.